ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igoe on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igoe.
Welcome into Hoist the Colors here on a Tuesday, September 30th. Philip Pilkington filling in for Stephen Igoe. Stephen is currently, he actually pushed back from the gate 2 minutes ago, or was scheduled to, from Denver. He was at Broncos-Bengals last night. We will talk to him in segment 2. He and I just did a quick, I think it's like 7 minutes long, phoner this morning, him talking about the game last night, as well as getting his World Series predictions, which we will do at the end of the show. We're going to start our show today by talking about the East Carolina Pirates football team and 3 things that we need to see them improve on during the bye week in order to stand a chance to win the American Conference here in the year 2025. Philip Pilkington, as mentioned, host, and we have Dom Kasulki back there producing, filling in my role. How's it going, Dom?
It's going great. It's playoff baseball, baby. I'm excited, but I know that's for later. That's for later talk.
Hey, it's never too early to talk Red Sox Yankees, baby. Let's do it. So we will be taking your comments here as well on Facebook and YouTube once I get it pulled up. As full disclosure, we have a weird YouTube thing where like you can't watch it if a live video that's being produced here if you're on the company Wi-Fi. I don't know why, so I've got to use my hotspot here. So I don't see your comments yet on YouTube, but we will get to those. And we are joined by IBX Media employee and Hoist the Colors intern. He pulls double duty, and this is your first time on as an Hoist the Colors intern, Chris Watson. What's up, Chris?
What's up, man? How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Just woke up about 30 minutes ago.
Of course you did.
You know, getting ready for the day still.
Well, I got a quick question for you before we get into this, just because, you know, Igoe does like to have the interns on, likes to introduce them. Obviously, we won't go into too much introduction on you because you've came on the show plenty of times before via, being an IBX media employee, especially during college baseball season, because that's your area of expertise. But how's it going, the internship? Are you enjoying the writing side of things? I know that's why you're doing it, is so you can have the balance of being here with us and learning the radio side, but then with Steven and learning the writing side. So how's that going?
It's been awesome. I mean, it's been pretty cool, to see your name on something that, is getting published on a meaningful website. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that for, happening for another 5 years. So it's been a blessing.
There you go. Well, I know he really enjoys having you. He's been saying some good things about you, so I'm glad that you stayed with us as well as doing that. It's going to make you more well-rounded and obviously a better chance to find a job once you get going. I got to figure out how to open this live chat panel on YouTube. I might have to have you guys help me because I'm clicking live chat panel and nothing's happening. So I don't know, man. YouTube's jank. So if you are doing YouTube comments, I'm trying to get to them. I apologize as to why we have not gotten to any of the YouTube comments yet. As like I said, it is just acting really weird. Oh, there we go. Lane Smith said pulling for the Red Sox today. Lane, enjoy the bye week. Congratulations to your Phillies, obviously on clinching that first round bye. I'm sure as a Yankee or as a Phillies fan, you are not big on the Yankees. So Kenny Curlins congratulates Stephen Igoe's Broncos on the victory last night. And let's just go ahead and get into our talk here because we're starting to get comments about that. Coors on Air says the Pirates need to clean up the mistakes, penalties, and also have a definite plan for attacking in the red zone for success. So, let's talk about the red zone first. We're going to do 3 reasons. It'll probably end up being more than 3 because I know that Chris and I both had that on our list. I'm going to go on a limb. Did you have that on your list too,
I did,
Dom?
yeah. I was thinking, I just read that comment. I'm like, dang, they're already taking it. You guys would have taken it. It is what it is.
Yeah, so let's just, because that's a consistent on all of our lists, let's just go ahead and address that. Look, bottom line is it's got to get better. I don't know if it needs to become more creative down in the red zone to keep bad things from happening, or it just needs to be wiser decisions. But Steven and I were kind of talking about this yesterday, that when you look at red zone issues, a lot of times it's because the field's condensed. and you've got 22 guys in a much more smaller space than you do normally. The confusing thing is right now, and that's one thing still, and it's on the 5, 6, 7 yard line, but I feel like East Carolina's still even struggling at the 10, 15 yard line, and it's not like in the middle of the field we're pushing the ball down the field or even running deeper routes that are taking guys, out of those 25 yards or whatever. So I don't know if this is a mental thing with the team right now, but I think this is also something that's very easy to clean up during a bye week.
I feel like right now the main issue in the red zone is we're becoming way too conservative. Towards the end of the second half in that Army game, you get down there and you run that speed option, and they read it perfectly. I mean, to me, you have to pass the ball in that situation. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. You have a chance to get another touchdown or at least a field goal, and then you turn the ball over. It just feels like time and time again, we're just settling for either 3 or 0. It doesn't feel like we want that touchdown.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And Kenny Curlins agrees with you with the bad play calling here in the red zone. I don't know if he's saying that the conservativeness is the issue. I think it maybe sometimes is. Like we think about the pick against BYU, you go mass protection, they only send 4, and all of a sudden you've got 2 guys running out there running routes against 7 defenders. So, there is balance, but that's part of it. Garrett, I do see your comment. We can answer that at the end of this segment. Dom, just kind of what are your thoughts on things that we need to do? As Pauline says, go Red Sox. Heck yeah! I think this is your mom here,
yeah,
Dom.
I think it is. Yeah.
So
go Red Sox.
Hello, Mrs. Kasulki. Thank you for tuning in. Go Red Sox. She, of course, is the reason Dom is a Red Sox fan. So, Dom, just kind of your thoughts on the lack of red zone efficiency and what we can do here in the bye week to get better at it.
I think you guys hit it mostly on the head. It is some conservative play calling, but it's more like the run game needs to get going, which is also another thing that I think I'm going to want to talk about. But with the run game not getting going, you're getting a 1, 2, 3 yard rush every time. So it's going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and 7 and 8. In the goal line, and it just makes it so much harder for Caton Hauser to find his guy if the run game isn't going. And when that happens, he's trying to play the Superman. He's trying to do everything he can. And you saw it against BYU. That was a bad interception. He should have thrown it away or tried to hit receiver deep on the right side of the end zone, but he didn't, and it puts too much pressure on Caton when the run game isn't going. Once it does get going, if it ever does get going, I think there'll be cleaner red zone appearances, but the play calling does need to get better as well. I'm not exactly sure what you do here. You gotta be able to run the ball. That's the final line.
I like it. I really like where you're coming from because I think a lot of the question marks in the red zone amongst fans have been, well, we're putting the ball in harm's way. Well, you're not putting the ball in harm's way if you're running it up the middle and you've got 2 hands on the football. So let's segue that, Dom, because you had it on your list. You just mentioned Chris had it on his list. I had it on my list of things that we need to do better. Let's talk about running the football, and maybe this is one of those where if we fix running the football, to Dom's point here, it allows us to fix our red zone things to an extent. Now, I think seeing more of Mike Wright, being a little more creative, to your point with being too conservative, can be something. I really want to see more Mike Wright. So let's talk about the run the football. Chris and I were talking pre-show. BYU game, it looked a lot better. Best we had ran. Army game might have taken a little bit of a step back. I don't think it was as bad as it was before. But, I think this is a week where the O-line and a lot of the inside zone starts with that double team block on the interior defensive lineman and working up to that linebacker. And that is one of those things that it just comes with reps. And that is something that you can rep a lot during a bye week. And it's something you don't even have to rep against the defense. You can rep it in Indy period where you've got another guy holding a pad or a coach holding a pad, and you work on, okay, we're blocking 1001, 1002 or whatever their count is, and then let's go work up to the middle linebacker. Also, with that being said, the running backs have to allow that to happen. When the running backs hit the hole too quickly and they have yet to work up to said linebacker, the linebacker's unblocked. And I think right now, maybe due to lack of success running the football, our running backs are a little anxious, in my opinion, and they're just so excited to hit the hole, and they're like, it's there now. And they're right. The initial hole on the defensive line is there, And we're not losing yardage. We're just getting too many 2 to 3 yard runs, and 2 to 3 yard runs don't win you football games. So that's what I want to see more with the run. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else? Do you want to hit different play calling? I mean, it's a lot of inside zone. I don't know. Whoever wants to take it away.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, the blocking just needs to be better. Like, we haven't gotten that downfield blocking that, you had last year.
Good point.
But you see a guy like Marlon Gunn, who looks like the most explosive running back on this team right now, churning out 10 yards a run last weekend, and you're like, well, maybe we just throw him in. Is it a problem with the other two running backs, or is it just that they're not getting the blocking that Marlon Gunn's getting, or is Marlon Gunn hitting the hole faster? Is he being more patient? There's so many questions that could be answered within this run game situation that just we don't know about.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. All right, Dom, you got anything?
I think we need to find more of an identity with the running back crew. I mean, you got 15 carries from London, 10 from Marlon Gunn, and 13 from Parker Jenkins. I love that you're trying to run the ball, but I mean, 3.9 yards per carry from London Montgomery, 2.8 from Parker Jenkins. They didn't have themselves that great of a game. Marlon Gunn, as Chris did mention, had a better game. He looked explosive the last two, but he didn't look good in the first 2 weeks. I don't think they know who their go-to guy is yet. I think you got to figure that out.
There's people walking on the roof. I think Spider-Man's up there. Can you hear that, Dom, or your headphones?
No, I can't hear anything.
Chris and I are like, while you're talking, we're trying to listen to what you're talking, we're like staring at the ceiling. So Kenny Curlin's going back to the red zone issues. He says the jet sweeps to the tight ends on the 10-yard line is not a good call. We've heard all offseason about our speed. We need to use it. I'm with you. That's what I'm saying, man. More Mike Wright. And look, Brock, the tough thing with Brock, it takes him a little bit to get up to speed. He's not extremely explosive, but I think if we move our feet and block better on the perimeter, to Chris's point, so kind of tying in the red zone with the run game, I wouldn't mind seeing Brock Spalding on some of those, just some of those sweeps just to see. I mean, yeah, he's not going to be the quickest guy. He's not Winston Wright, but he's good at finding vision, good at finding the hole. So Johnny Stats here. The Pirates have 7 turnovers of 15 yards or longer, and all of them are by a different runner. Oh, sorry.
7 runs.
Yeah,
right.
7 runs of 15 yards or longer, and all of them are by different players. So, I see that now, Johnny Stats. It was not your bad typing. It was my illiteracy that was the issue there, bud. The great thing is you've got 7 different players who have a 15-yarder plus run. The problem is nobody's done it twice. That is definitely an issue.
I don't think we've yet to realize how fast Mike Wright is and how useful he is, because we haven't used him in a game. He was one of the best goal line quarterbacks for Vandy.
Yep.
He is one of the fastest quarterbacks I have ever watched play football. I mean, the guy can fly. Give him the opportunity, even if it's in the red zone, give him the opportunity to run a quick read option, speed option, whatever. And, you got to give him a chance. He's there for a reason.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think we, and Igoe and I talked about yesterday, I think we will see him more. I think it's been a little bit, the BYU game, there's never really flow in the offense. Army, you're not on the field that much. The other games, you've kind of blown teams out and didn't need them. They did try and use them against State. So Lane said, and I'll hit on Lane's question, then I do want to, you guys are free to bring up something you want to improve on, but I'm going to bring up something on the defensive side of the ball I want to see is my third thing. He goes, are we worried that interceptions are becoming part of who Caton is? I'm going to go no, Lane. I see where you're coming from, and he also said, can you use Mike Wright as a running back? I don't know if you just want him pounding between the tackles. He's not a big dude. Like, he's shifty, he's quick, and he's not going to take the bad hit. But, I would like to see him more run outside. Maybe you'd line him up in a triple option type situation. Maybe hand the ball, and then he's the pitch man. But that's the most I really want to see him truthfully in the backfield. But so I don't know if interceptions are becoming a part of who Caton is. It does feel like the last 2 weeks they've been really bad, but I don't want to put two. I mean, he didn't have a turnover-worthy play each of the first 2 weeks. I think he maybe had one the second week, or the third week, and then ever since then, it's been kind of bad. But I don't know. I see where you're coming from, Lane, but I don't want to put that on Caton this early, I guess is my point, because of the fact that I'm viewing him throwing picks as more of a 2-week sample size.
For me, I mean, he's thrown a pick every game the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
At least one. But here's my thing.
One was tipped. The coastal one was,
I think the reason why is because he's trying to play too much hero ball.
Okay.
I mean, even in the BYU game, he said it. I tried to play the hero, and I feel like you have to know your role within your team and not try to play Superman because it's never worked for anyone. Like, it genuinely has never worked for anyone to just try to do everything on them. Like, it's on everyone. It's not just on you.
Yeah, unless you're Tom Brady. You got anything to add on this interception thing?
Obviously you don't like the interception. He had 9 last year, and he didn't play the full season, so I do think it is a part of his game, but it is because of the run game. Again, I keep bringing it back to that. If you're not going to be able to run the ball, he's going to have to throw the ball, obviously, but it's going to be harder for him because they're going to be playing at the pass on Caton Hauser, and they know what he's capable of. I think I'm fine with an interception a game if he's out here slinging it and getting the deep ball into Anthony Smith's hands like he did last week, that 40-yard bomb. That was a great play, and it has to be a weekly thing that he has to do to make up for those interceptions that I'm fine with happening if he's going to go put points on the board.
Yeah, that's a good point. Robert Dedrick says using Mike Wright as QB would give us an extra blocker and more of a threat of a pass. Robert, I'm okay putting him back there. However, John David Baker has said that they don't really want to take Caton off the field, lose the flow of the offense, which the offense hasn't had a whole heck of a lot of flow anyways. All right, Dom, do you have it? What is your number 3 here on the three things? We'll let you go, let Chris go, and then I'm going to get into mine. We'll just hit these kind of quick here, just kind of let everybody say their own.
Oh, shoot. My third one, honestly, it's nothing that you can really help, but it was like it against the BYU game. I think the corners have to be uber aggressive and make good plays with their size. They have to be, top-notch coverage if they're not going to be the biggest guys in the country. So I just think they have to play near perfect coverage.
Chris?
Mine's going to be missed tackles, especially in that BYU game. We had so many missed tackles that just cost us, valuable yards, valuable, stops. And the defense played great in that first half, but you could just tell they gave up after that first half. They were just kind of shot. And, when you're missing tackles, and Aldridge just said, that's the main thing they focus on is tackling. When you're missing tackles, that's how you lose a game.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what cost them against State. That's why they were so far behind the 8 ball against State. I thought they tackled well for 3 quarters. Just not the first quarter. Mine's going to be, I don't want us to get over-aggressive on defense because I think us being a little passive, knowing we don't have a lot of superstars, is part of the reason that we're having as much success. But I would like to see a few more sacks. I would like to see a few more creative ways to rush the passer. And I think that's something you can install a little bit in a bye week. So that's kind of my thing. We did have one question earlier from Garrett. We're going to hit this quick because we do need to get a break in. He asked, hypothetical question, do you guys think, and Igoe and I think are going to get deeper into this later, but for the college football playoff, what are our thoughts on an 11-2 American champ or a 12-1 Mountain West champion? And then he even mentioned the Sun Belt because Mac and CUSA are probably out of this. Obviously, JMU maybe stands a chance in the Sun Belt. Look, I think the Americans' ability to beat Power 5 schools is going to help them, honestly, in this situation. And the tough thing, too, is I don't know, and I know you're going hypothetical here, I don't know if I see a 12-1 Mountain West champion. I think Boise loses at Notre Dame. Now, UNLV could still do that, but they sort of don't have a signature win. So I think it comes down a little bit who that 11-2, team is, right? If it's South Florida and they've got to win over Florida, better chance than maybe East Carolina, who lost to both State and BYU. So I think you got to look at the overall resume of the team, Garrett, when it gets closer. And I know you're wanting a brief, quick answer. And we would almost have to sit here and break down every team that could possibly happen to schedule and then say, well, if this, then this. But I think it's definitely a possibility. I think the committee realizes this is the best non-Power 4 conference and that I think we'll get the bid. So do either one of you guys have anything to add to that or you're ready to get a break?
I think American has 4 potential teams that could come out and make the playoff, including ECU. I don't see a conference as strong as the American right now in those mid-major teams. The Mountain West, Boise State, they lose first week to South Florida, and they kind of just fell off the map right away.
Yeah.
So, and there's not any other, like, the MAC and the CUSA, they'll never get the respect they deserve. I mean.
Do they deserve it, though?
No. I mean, they play weak competition, and the American just has hard team after hard team. Everybody has a Power 4 opponent on their schedule.
Yeah.
And everyone's beaten one at this point.
Well,
not everyone in the conference, but, those top 3 teams right now have beaten one.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, Cons Air says stop forcing passes, forcing the ball. If the guy's not open, hit the check down. Yeah, no, problem is the backs are blocking a lot, but he does need to just sometimes not be afraid to hit the check down. All right, with that being said, let's get a break. Like I said, next segment is a quick pre-taped segment between myself and Stephen, him going over what he experienced last night inside Mile High, where the Broncos were victorious over the Cincinnati Bengals. All that and more. This is Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
We're live with Stephen Igoe on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
Welcome back into Hoist the Colors on a Tuesday, September the 30th. Philip Pilkington's filling in for Stephen Igoe. However, our host of the show is, full disclosure, we recorded this earlier because he is actually just now taking off, but he is in the Denver airport and he attended Broncos Bengals last night. Bengals get out to an early 3-0 lead And it was all Stephen Igoe's Denver Broncos. How's it going, Stephen?
I tell you what, Philip, it's going pretty well. I'm 2-0 lifetime in Denver now, watching the Broncos. I saw them beat the Packers during the year they won the Super Bowl in 2015, and I saw them beat the Bengals last night. So I can't complain. My road record is a little worse, but home I am 2-0 lifetime in Denver, and it was an awesome experience. Obviously, hate that I'm missing the show in person today, but no offense to you guys back in the 94.3 The Game studios, but I'll trade this experience for just one missed show.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, because we were talking about it yesterday, and just the overall experience of the weekend. Colorado's a beautiful state. Denver's a pretty cool city. You guys got to go up into the mountains and do some stuff, and then on top of it, you covered the Panthers for a long time, and you can hear a pin drop in that stadium. But Jake Browning couldn't hear a damn thing last night, I think, even on first down.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to lie. The Bengals are an atrocity to the game right now. and obviously, look, I mean, Joe Burrow, I felt bad. There was honestly a good amount of Bengal fans there, and there were some little kids sitting in front of us with looked like he was a Bengals fan. He was wearing his Joe Burrow jersey, and his older brother was a Broncos fan. He had a Russell Wilson jersey, but he had taped over it Will Lutz ? On the back.
That's awesome.
Which I thought was pretty hilarious. But Big Brother got to pick on him the majority of the game. I felt kind of bad for the Bengals fans who made the trip. Like, obviously, I'm sure when they booked the tickets, they were expecting Burrow to play. I was as well. But look, when you're missing your MVP caliber quarterback, it just makes a difference. And as we know in the NFL, you can't win without a quarterback majority of the time. And right now the Bengals look like arguably the worst team in the league without Joe Burrow. But I'll take it, man. Pretty relaxing, enjoyable victory for my squad.
Well, Stephen, you mentioned their offense was, not on the field a lot, so that gave Denver the ball more. But I thought Denver's ability to run the football was really good. J.K. Dobbins goes for 101 yards, first Bronco in 38 games, which is extends prior to Sean Payton taking over as head coach to rush for 100 yards in a football game. And I just thought Denver's offensive line really won the point of attack up front against, not a great defensive line. They do have Trey Hendrickson, but I think their defense is pretty much still a dumpster fire like it was last year in Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's the thing. I just wanted to see, did they pass the eye test offensively? I mean, they've moved the ball at times the first three games, but they did not look like the unit that Sean Payton said in the preseason. He basically said this roster was a Super Bowl caliber roster, and they had not looked like that through three games. And they looked more like that last night. Now, the penalties, apparently the officiating crew had called the most penalties in the NFL on average going to the game, and they lived up to that moniker. But I thought overall Denver looked good. I mean, when they can run the ball, we all know Sean Payton is creative, but when he can run the ball with his offense, it opens up so much more. I thought he did a good job of scheming up some things for Marvin Mims, who is, kind of one of the more underrated explosive players in the league. And when he gets the ball in space, you can see what he can do. So overall, man, I thought they did well. Bo Nix bounced back as well. He had the interception, which I honestly didn't hate on 4th and goal. He was just trying to make a play. But I thought outside of that, it looked good. They just got to get Torrey Franklin to catch the ball a little bit more.
We're visiting with Stephen Igoe, host of Hoist the Colors. Two more things, we'll get him out of here. Stephen, obviously, the whole point of the trip was for you to go see your Broncos play, but you drug your wife, Erica, to the game, but I don't think you drug her to Colorado. I think she had a good trip. So if we asked her what was the best part of the trip and what was your favorite part outside of the game last night?
Her favorite part was the food. Specifically, we ate at a breakfast place called Sam's Number 3, and they had some epic pancakes, which she's still talking about right now. So that was her favorite part. Anytime she can eat, she's happy. I'm just trying to keep her well-fed as much as possible.
Well, she's training for a marathon, so you got to.
Yes, exactly. We did run 7 miles. She did beat me. So I'll give her that on the first day here. And we ran downtown Denver, which was fun. I think she enjoyed that, running in the non-humid air as well. And that was enjoyable. The mountains were cool. We went to the Red Rocks Trail, went up some mountains there. Also checked out Golden, Colorado, which I thought was pretty cool. We also went to a place called Meow Wolf, and it's hard to explain. It's right by the Broncos Stadium. You just have to experience it, but that was pretty cool as well. We did that yesterday, so kind of an interesting experience for anybody out this way. So there was a ton of highlights, man. Wish we had more time, but obviously we got real life to return to.
Yeah, unfortunately, vacations do have to come to an end. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. And our next segment here on Hoist the Colors is going to be taking a deeper dive look into the MLB postseason, specifically what the Pirates will be doing, or former Pirates, will be doing in the postseason. Gavin Williams getting a start today against Tariq Skubal and the Detroit Tigers. But, Stephen Igoe, you will not be on our airways at all between now and that first pitch. So I need your MLB predictions before the first pitch is thrown as to who is going to win the 2025 World Series.
So I think the AL is a complete crapshoot. I mean, I honestly could see any of the 6 teams in the AL winning it. I lean more towards the victor of the bracket with Toronto, Boston, and New York. I just think, honestly, I think that the Blue Jays can really pitch. When they're hitting, they're probably the best team in the AL. The Yankees scare me just because of their lineup. But I think if you get them outside of Yankee Stadium, I don't know how good they are. But, I hate to do it. I guess I'll go Yankees. I can't pick the Mariners to make the World Series. Look, it'd be a homer pick. I think they can do it, but they've never done it. In the NL, I've got the Phillies. They were my preseason World Series pick. I put some money on them, and so I'm going to ride with Phillies over Yankees in the World Series.
All right, there you go. Phillies over Yankees is Stephen Igoe's pick. That would be a flashback to the 2008 World Series when the Phillies did defeat the New York Yankees. Well, Stephen, thank you for your time, and safe travels home, and can't wait to see you tomorrow.
All right, appreciate it, Philip. Hold it down, man. I'm counting on you.
Will do. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me fill in. That is Stephen Igoe. We're going to take a break here on Hoist the Colors. Be back to talk more about the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and golds.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igoe on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into Hoist the Colors, putting a wrap on our football stuff. Graham Teal here says Hauser does have times when he zones in on certain players as opposed to letting the offensive scheme come to him. That's when he hurts himself. Yes, he definitely has stared down some receivers. Robert Dedrick wants to see Mike Wright. QB, I think we already mentioned that. It's Cons Air said, forcing passes, sorry. It was Gabriel said that he would like to see Mike Wright and Jaquez Petaway run some more routes. I'm with you there, Mike. Eagles, Zane says Eagles are going to beat the Broncos. I'll let you talk to Igoe about that during the rest of the week. We'll get into more football the rest of the week, guys. And Robert Dedrick says altitude training for Igoe. Yes, big for Igoe and big for his wife, Erica. She has her marathon in, I believe, 2 weeks. She's running the Chicago Marathon this year, so shout out to Erica for that. So anytime you can train up there at a mile high, definitely. I ran a 10K there a couple years ago. Hit a wall late in that one. So moving on now, boys, to the Major League Baseball playoffs. We're going to get into all the Pirate stuff. That's going to be the bulk of the segment. But it's Yankees Hate Day, Dom. So if you're listening, we got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And Yankees suck, baby. Let's go. Sox Yanks.
Go Red Sox, baby.
Oh, I'm so pumped. So, Dom, I already got the feeling in my stomach.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now, man. It's nausea. It's anxiety.
Yeah,
it's
rough.
Everything hitting at once. Of course it's got to be Yankees Red Sox. I mean, I love it. The rivalry was always a big thing, but man, I wouldn't mind playing Detroit right now. I wish I wish we were playing the lowly team that hasn't been good as of late. I'm glad we're not playing the Guardians. Playing the Guardians.
And obviously, had things gone differently on the final day of the season, there was a scenario where the Red Sox would have gone to Cleveland to play Gavin Williams and the Guardians. Gavin Williams is the ace of the Cleveland Guardians. He will be getting the start against Skubal today in 31 minutes. I don't know why they start these games so early, but they do. Gavin Williams has had a heck of a season so far this year. Looking at his stats, he has started 31 games. He is 12-5 with a 3.06 ERA, and now he gets to start game 1 of the playoffs for his team. I mean, that's special, and he gets to do it against the guy who's probably going to win the AL Cy Young. So it's a big opportunity for Gavin and a big opportunity for Cleveland, who's the hottest team in baseball.
I think first game of the wild card sets the tone. So for Gavin to have a huge game today is going to be it's important for the Guardians. I mean, you want that first game. There's probably a stat out there somewhere, but I'd have to look it up. But most of the teams, I remember seeing it, most of the teams that win the first game go on to win the wild card.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. So the wild card round began 3 years ago with this format, the best 2 out of 3. So there's been 12 wild card series. Any idea? No Googling, cheater. No Googling back there either.
I'm not. I know the answer already.
In the 12, all right, he already knows the answer. Out of the 12 teams who have won the first game, do you know how many have gone on to win the series?
All 12.
All 12.
Yep.
There's only been 2 game 3s ever played in 3 years. So to say today's a must-win is an understatement. You got to win the game today.
And it feels like that for every team because you're all throwing out your ace. I mean, you got Gavin Williams, Skubal, you got Fried and Crochet. I mean, that in the AL alone, those are 4 of the top pitchers in the entire AL. If you lose with them, I don't know what to tell you. In a best of 3, you're cooked.
Yeah, you are. Wow, there's just a lot of wow, we've got some bot in the chat just like putting up a bunch of weird random emojis about baseball. It's MLB Wildcard Live on trying to get you to illegally watch something. So don't what was I going to bring up? Oh, yes, the pitching thing. Let's talk about Skubal here for a second. So Skubal was supposed to start Sunday for Cleveland or for Detroit because they were going to need to win the game in Boston to make the playoffs. Well, lucky for them, the Stros lay an egg Friday and Saturday and eliminate themselves. They were able to save Skubal So he hasn't pitched since last week when he pitched and lost to the Guardians. Week before that, he pitched and lost to the Guardians. And a lot of it, we were talking during the break, it's lack of run support. It's not, that he's really been bad. But could you imagine being, then it's hypothetical, but imagine being the Detroit Tigers right now going into this game without Tariq Skubal and you're facing Gavin Williams, who's had your number here lately.
I mean, yeah, I would. The Tigers have been one of the teams that have just declined slowly towards the end of the year.
I feel like they just fell off a bridge.
I mean, yeah. And once you get into playoffs, not having any momentum, it's a killer. It's definitely a killer once you get to that point.
Yeah, looking at Gavin here, the team has won each of his last 5 starts. He has gotten each of his last 5 starts. He has gotten a win in 4 out of those 5, including the last 2 against Detroit. What were you about to say, Dom? Sorry.
An 8-game losing streak for the Tigers is what cost them the division. They had a 14.5 game lead over the Guardians for most of the season. They lost that lead. Cleveland swept. They're swept by Cleveland, swept by Atlanta, who hasn't been good this year, and lost 2 out of 3 to Cleveland. So obviously, like you said, Cleveland has had Detroit's number, but when you got Skubal, you always have a chance. So I'm not sure exactly if I'm happy, being the Guardians, having to face Skubal, but you got to be confident in your guy Gavin Williams. And one point I want to say, Gavin Williams, I think they can go win this game with him pitching 6 or 7 really good innings as long as he stays away from the walk. In 4 out of his last 10 outings, 3 or 4 walks. And that kills your outings, especially in the playoffs. Teams will they'll get out of you those walks. They're gonna capitalize on those walks, and can't do that in the playoffs.
And if Gavin is victorious, it'll be Tanner is it Bibby? Bibby? It's Bibee. I always mess it up, against TBD tomorrow for the Detroit Tigers. Looking elsewhere around the Pirate Nation, the other Pirates that were able to make former Pirates that were able to make the playoffs include Jeff Hoffman and Trey Savage with the Toronto Blue Jays. They will be in action on Saturday against the winner of the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Obviously, Jeff Hoffman, the closer, will be on the roster. Little question about Trey Savage. 26 players can be on the roster. He got called up in September as one of the 28 for the expanded rosters. He was not on the 40-man roster prior to September 1st, meaning he is ineligible for the playoffs unless they apply for a waiver. So the Blue Jays is still not clear whether or not they will attempt to do that. I have not seen anything officially as it relates to whether or not they're going to apply for that waiver. But either way, Jeff Hoffman, who everybody said was going to be the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays coming into the season and had a little bit of a slow start, has really been one of the more consistent closers in baseball, here these last few months. And, he's not one of those guys that when you think of all the great closers, you think of the Kenley Jansens and the world and, guys who are the dude in Cleveland, who I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Clase.
Yeah, Emmanuel Clase. So there's guys all over the list, but he has really improved his game. And how many guys end up becoming a closer this late in their career after being a middle reliever? So great job there by Jeff Hoffman. And I can't say I'm pulling for him. I am if he's playing the dang Yankees, I can tell you that.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. He's been one of the best relievers in baseball this year. And for the Blue Jays, they took the division by storm this year. No one expected them to be as good as they were.
Yeah.
So, it's just good to see ECU bring out some talent, out of, any sport, to be honest. So I think it'll be cool to see. And I think the Blue Jays have a real contending chance this year. So I think it'll be a fun playoffs to watch this year.
Are the Blue Jays, Dom, the best team top to bottom out of those 3 in their half of the bracket that would get them into the CS between us, New York, and them?
I don't think they're the best team. On paper, I think the Yankees are the best team. As much as it pains me to say it, I do think name value, at least in their bullpen, they have a lot of guys that should be good but haven't been. For some reason, bullpen pitchers will go to New York and forget how to pitch. I don't mind it. I'm happy with it, but it has been the case for them this year with Duvall in the trade deadline, and then Obviously, Devin Williams has had a down year, but their lineup is just so deep, and they can really kill you at any point with the home run ball, especially in Yankee Stadium. So I think they do have the best lineup, but I think the Red Sox have the power of friendship.
Yeah, when you look here at Hoffman's numbers, he does have a 4.37 ERA, which is a little high, but he had a couple of just bad outings early. He ended up 9-7 on the year. He also had 33 saves on 40 save opportunities, so only 7 blown saves there. And when you look at his ability in the Rogers Center, he is 6-5 in the Rogers Center with 18 saves. So it proves that those guys score a lot of runs late as well in the Rogers Center. The fact that your closer's got 6 wins, they're very good in extra innings, which obviously extra innings is going to look a lot different in playoffs. It'll go back to the traditional extra innings. But hey, man, it's going to be awesome to see Jeff. And if he's playing against the Yankees, like I said, I'll sure pull for him. So, you guys got anything left that you want to say? If anybody's trying to comment, I don't know if anybody is about baseball. Your comments are just being Lane did say, let's go Phillies. So I don't know if your comments are being changed by this bot or this bot is just in here commenting. But, yeah, that's what's going on right now. So, might not have any more comments for us show. Not sure. Let us know if you can still comment. Somebody just try and say hey, yeah, we can still comment. I think you guys are being taken over by the bot because every time it's just, nobody's commenting anything. So stupid bots, stupid AI. Let's go back to the 50s. However, we wouldn't be able to be on stream if it was the 50s, but all good. All righty, guys. Well, we're going to take our final time out. When we come back on the other side, it's going to be time for World Series predictions. Obviously, we'll make them again once the World Series is set, but we're going to talk about who we think is going to make it out of the 12 remaining teams. That to close out the show. This is Hoist Colors on a Tuesday.
It's time to soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota. Summer is here with hot deals on a great selection of new Toyotas, like a Corolla, $189 a month, or Tacoma, $279 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville Toyota.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
My hair is definitely a reflection of who I am. Wild, fun, fiery for sure.
It just goes with the flow.
Me and my hair, both untamable.
I wear it how I feel.
Feel fearless.
Feel empowered. Look fantastic.
Look fantastic.
Look fantastic.
Feel unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
The sun is out, and so are the deals at Greenville Toyota. Soak up the savings on a hot selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or RAV4, $289 a month. Soak up the savings at Greenville
Remember,
Toyota.
get the podcast of the show on the IBX Media app or where you get your podcasts.
Got it. You don't have to tell me twice. I remember it exactly.
Stephen Igoe and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into Hoist the Colors, wrapping up with our MLB playoff predictions. We wish we could see yours, but somehow this bot has taken over any comment you guys make, and it's just emojis, and it looks like it's the bot that's doing it. I know you guys are commenting, so we apologize, and I have no idea how to fix it. If you go over to Facebook, that might be the best way to do it. Graham Teal was able to comment earlier, and knock on wood, no bots there. We've got about 5 minutes left of the show. Time for our World Series predictions leading into the the playoffs here as they get set to start here in about 18 minutes. Chris, we'll go with you. Who you got?
I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this one. I don't really watch the MLB all that much, but I still keep track of it. So I'm going to go Mariners, Brewers. You know, the Brewers are probably the hottest team in baseball right now. They're the best team in baseball right now, record-wise at least. And the Mariners just have a great pitching staff. Their offense is pretty good. You know, Dumper's got 60 home runs now, and he's right there in the MVP race with Aaron Judge. So I'm just going to go out on a limb. Brewers, Mariners, two teams we haven't seen in a long time. So,
well, one team we haven't seen in a long time. One team Stephen Igoe will like that. Mariners we've never seen. Only team to never make a World Series. All right, Dom, you going with the homer pick?
No, I listen to Igoe as well. I can't do the homer pick as much as I want to do it. I do think we'll win the first series against the Yankees, but I don't know if we're going to make it all the way to the World Series. I am going to pick Steven's team, though, the Seattle Mariners. I agree the pitching staff is really good with Wu, Castillo. You got Kirby. So it's just a really good staff as well as their closer, Munoz. So that they're great all around. And then the Phillies, I think, have so much firepower with the home run ball as well as their starting pitching. It sucks that they lost Zach Wheeler. I think they'd be heavier favorites if they had him. But I am going to go Phillies and Mariners, and I'm going with a Phillies World Series win. So there you go, Mark.
Yeah, Mark is. I hope Mark is tuning in from Iceland right now. Hope he's enjoying his time. Our guy Mark Miller, obviously a big Philly sports fan, being from the Philly area. Oh, you guys, this has been a tough one for me. I kind of like the Mariners is the logical pick, but until they make it, they're kind of like Gonzaga, right? It's like how do you pick them? Hurts me to do it. I'm doing Cleveland. They're the hottest team in baseball. I think they're going to get there. I think they handle Detroit no problem. I think it's a hell of a series against the Mariners for them in next round. Then I think they find a way to beat whoever it is out of that AL East, which I think is going to be a bloodbath of a bracket. It's kind of weird how it played out that way. On the NL side, I just don't think the Brewers can hit enough home runs. That's the issue. They're like second in on-base percentage, second in hits. I think you got to be able to hit the long ball because you see ace pitching so much, and that worries me with the Brewers.
They always choke.
They do. And, looking at it here, too, with the bracket, the Brewers do play. Oh, they play the Cubs or the Padres. I think they can handle them. But as it results to the Phillies, Lane's going to be ticked off at me for this. Losing Wheeler, I think they do have it figured out, but there always seems like there's a couple teams that come off slow out of the bye. And they will come out of the bye and be playing the most experienced team in these playoffs, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are going to defeat our guy Jim Zokey's Cleveland Guardians in the World Series. And Clayton Kershaw will get the final out on his final pitch of his career. They're going to bring him into close, and he will ride off into the sunset like Ray Lewis, John Elway, and Peyton Manning, who got to win their last game. So I'm going with the Dodgers. It pains me to say it. I dislike the Dodgers. I don't hate them like I do the Yankees, but they're definitely my number 2 least liked team. But I'm picking the Dodgers.
Unfortunately, that's the second pick. That's probably the most logical pick in the NL. So it sucks to say, even though their regular season wasn't as dominant as you would have thought, they're still going to get it done, at least get far into it. I think that Phillies and Dodgers series is going to be a tough one. I think that's going to be one of the more interesting series in the entire playoffs.
I think it will be, dude. And that's best 3 out of 5. That is a condensed series.
Yeah, you're going to see the dogs thrown out at all points. I mean, they're throwing everybody out at you.
Yeah. Gosh, that's going to be awesome.
But the thing is Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies is going to be rested up and healthy for the game 1.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, I mean, their pitching has been a little bit worse than what their lineup looked like or what their rotation looked like because of so many injuries. So you don't really know what you're going to get game 1 out of Dodgers pitching. So the Dodgers bats are going to have to be hot.
Oh, we know who they're starting game 1. They're starting Kershaw game 1 if they make it that far because he's not even on the roster for the wild card because he threw Sunday.
Well, then there we go.
So they didn't now. Playoff Kershaw's not always been the best.
That's
but
the thing.
Yeah, they have said they haven't came out 100% said he's starting game 1, but he threw Sunday, so that'd be a normal amount of rest for him to throw Saturday. Yeah, man. I'm ready for that. That is going to be awesome. Well, that's all the time we have as our music bed begins here. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Igoe and I are going to break down position by position, grading how they have done through 5 weeks here in the bye week tomorrow. So much more football. Again, sorry we couldn't get to your comments at the end. Blame technology, not me. I mean, I'm pretty tech illiterate, but a bot's a bot. So, Chris, thanks for being here.
Appreciate you for having me on.
Dom, thanks for your hard work back there. Thanks for your contribution to the show.
As always, I'm loving it.
All righty, boys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. This has been Hoist the Colors on the final day of September. October's here. Playoff baseball's here, baby. Go Red Sox.
Go Sox.
This has been Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igoe. Get a recap of this show at 943thegame.com and on your IBX Media app, on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Tune in weekdays at noon to get your ECU sports fix with Stephen Igoe and Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
Hoist the Colors!